Awesome.
Well, good evening, everyone, and thank you so much for being here. I just want to say welcome to our weekly connection with our team, the Mission Possible team. And each week when we come together, our goal and our purpose is to keep our focus and keep us informed on all things in the world of Juice Plus. And the Juice Plus company, if you are not familiar, if you're joining for the first time or you're fairly new, the Juice Plus company has enjoyed and is enjoying a 50-year history that now operates in 27 countries with 41 published studies. We have a lot to be excited about within the Juice Plus world. The greater mission of the Juice Plus company is inspiring healthy living. And for those of you on the Mission Possible team, our mission is that we are a growing team of inspired individuals, agents for change, dedicated to creating healthier, more prosperous lives for families now and in the future. And so your presence here tonight says so much. Not only are we the Mission Possible team, but I invited Susie Llewellyn and a sideline team to be with us this evening. So we're pleased that you guys were able to join us. Thank you, Stuart, for being with us this evening, and welcome. We want to give you a warm welcome. I've had the privilege of being in what we call a fireside chat with you early on. For those of you, and I think most of you know, that Stuart is our newly named global CEO for the Juice Plus family. And before joining the Juice Plus family, Stuart has enjoyed a 20-year career at Coca-Cola. I think when you left there, you were the executive, what did I write down? The senior executive there. And I understand from visiting with you, you worked through a few different positions in a male-dominated world. Welcome to our world.
I feel right at home.
So I also know that Stuart was also the chief marketing officer at Beyond Meat. So that's a diverse, we have gone diverse, Coca-Cola to Beyond Meat. So thank you, Stuart, for graciously being with us this evening to share a little bit. And I'm going to put you in a spotlight mode so we can get to see you up close and personal.
Okay, hold on one second. I'm having a little bit of audio issue. I'm going to go out and come back in.
There we go. Okay, and if you are not muted, you need to mute yourself. Maybe Sally, you can help me mute some people. Oh dear, how did that happen? Okay, let me go back to our review. Okay, I'm trying to find you, Stuart.
She had to get out. Her sound went away, and she said she'd be right back on.
Okay, all right. Well, has anybody ever watched Emerald? And my team knows I always say with Emerald, we're cooking live for sure. But yeah, this is fun. Well, I'll continue to share just a quick little thought with you guys while we're waiting for Stuart. Yes. Are you there?
Yeah, I can hear you now. I'm having technical issues. All right, I'm good now. All right, I had put one earbud in. I can hear in my computer too. I apologize, guys.
Okay, you're good. Thank you, Stuart, for being here. And I know that you agreed to do kind of an interview style.
Yes, ma'am.
We're excited for our teams to get to know you a little bit more up close and personal, up close. And so one of the questions that our team asked, and they're curious as to what drew you to our company, or that would be maybe curious of what drew you from Coca-Cola to Beyond Meat to the Juice Plus family. That's where we'd love to start.
Yep. So obviously, as you mentioned, I had a long career at Coke, and it was a great career, but it was sort of defined me as I became sort of a human, I guess. Got married, both my parents, when I started there, were living and they deceased, and my kids. And so it was like my life was encapsulated at Coke, and it taught me many things. And, I was young when I started, so I was 28. And by the time I finished, I was more than 28. I was almost 22 years. And I sort of realized that the reason why I started at Coke, which was to really make a difference in communities where we do business, it was this amazing brand that gave back to the community and really participated. I'd sort of lost the plot a little bit. It had become a little bit too commercial for me. And that was probably my own issue. And so I felt called to do something different, something that mattered more, I guess. I mean, this is not about Coke, it was more about me. And so I decided that I would sort of throw caution to the wind and I would go find a job that was everything that Coke wasn't. And I found that in Beyond Meat, which, as you know, is a very hot plant-based startup. And so, I was commuting back and forth to Atlanta to California, and it was a small, scrappy entrepreneurial culture where, one day I'd be the janitor, the next day I would be, talking to Bill Gates. It was this insanely crazy experience. But what it taught me was really that I was still curious and resilient, and I still wanted to make a difference. And then Juice Plus came knocking on my door a couple of times, and I chose to sort of not pay attention to it until finally one of my former neighbors, who was a friend of mine, said, this opportunity's open. And if I have to drive to your house and sit on your front doorstep and make you talk to me about this, then that's what I'll do. I just feel like this is the perfect opportunity for you. And so I stopped sort of resisting myself and sort of assuming I had the outcome. And I listened to her, and it was this rapid kind of beginning of a love affair. I met Jay and Paulo, and that sort of synced it up for me. And the thing I loved most about it was it took what I loved about Coke and Beyond Meat, which was mission, making a difference and spreading healthy living around the world. And then it really spoke to me because I'm on my own personal journey on plant-based nutrition, and I want to make a difference. And I loved the community and the collective of the partners. And I also loved the removal of sort of the middleman. So whether that's the retailer, and it was more of an authentic kind of relationship-based business. And so it all kind of happened fast. And by the time Christmas rolled around, I turned to my husband. I said, I'm leaving California. I'm coming back south, and I'm going to do this. And so here I am. So that's kind of the story in a snapshot.
Wonderful story. I just love it. And I know that you have a family. I know that you're a wife. When we talked, we discovered that, and a mom, and I think a pet owner. I think you've got some dogs too.
I have 3 dogs.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. I mean, I think the last time we talked, I had 2 dogs, and then my husband, I think because I'm here in Collierville and Memphis a lot, decided he needed a companion. So he brought him another dog, but we'll talk about that later. So I have 2 adult daughters, Katie, who's 18, Marion, who's 20. Sophomore in college, and then we're waiting actually Wednesday to find out the final verdict on the youngest one's college situation. So there's a little bit of a white knuckle there. But I've been married to my husband Kurt for many years. I sort of don't count anymore. We're tacking towards 25. He's a wonderful person, and I have 3 dogs, 3 girl dogs, and so I love them to pieces. It's always interesting to be working in a different city and having them in another city, but so far so good, and everybody's great. And the thing that's so interesting about it, people ask me all the time about how I sort of got to where I am and sort of balance the family, which is not even possible. There's no such thing as balance. And so that was another thing about Juice Plus that I loved, is that it's, you work in the gaps, I guess, is you steal it when you can, and you work when you can. And so that was another thing that sort of was an authentic kind of speaking to me about Juice Plus. It sort of felt real. It wasn't this sort of fake perception of, superwoman balancing the scales of life and work, which is, we all know, is not really true. Both men and women know that. So that's my family, and that's kind of how I related to Juice Plus for them.
Yeah. And you said something so key, working it in the gaps. That is,
oh boy. And it's messy. We've seen messy tonight. Listen, my calendar was wrong, and my earbuds aren't working. So, this is it. This is me. You're getting me full. This is the full exposure here.
We can go with it, because that's what I tell my team all the time. Stuarts, like, it's Emerald. We're cooking live, so you don't.
Oh yeah,
like it's going.
You never know what's going to happen. Exactly.
And that's okay. You know what? That to me, if that's happening to us, then other people ought to have hope as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, yes. It's
Well, I know that when you were first visiting, you met Jay and Paulo, and that may be what this answers this next question, but what did you find most unique or attractive about the Juice Plus company besides meeting Jay?
Yeah, I mean, Jay, of course, Jay is Jay. I mean, he's just this amazing figurehead. It just felt really real. Nobody was trying to act like something that they weren't. Everyone was very, very much an honest broker, sort of authentically themselves, which I think is unusual in today's, environment, especially in work. People try to, build this kind of persona of something that they expect other people to be, and that I didn't have that at all with Jay and Paula. They were very, pure to who they are, whether you like it or you don't. And I actually think that's amazing. And I think that is the way we all kind of need to be, even if we don't disagree on things. It's sort of this common humanity. And so it was just one of those things that I sat down to lunch. I think it was like, oh gosh, maybe 1:30, maybe 12:30, 1:30 my time Eastern. And I think we probably left the table 4 hours later. It was this sort of this journey of, finding each other. It was super cool. So it was awesome.
Sounds like Jay.
It was definitely Jay. Yeah. He likes to hold court, doesn't he? I mean, he has so many great stories. And so you take the admission and it's wonderful.
Great fun. Yeah. So, well, I know that you've got great ideas, but what do you see as the strengths and maybe the biggest opportunities for our company, especially moving forward? Because I've heard Paulo say, we're looking to double in the next 5 years or by the year 2025. So that's the big ask when you're looking.
That's a big ask.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think strengths, and this I think is even more significant than we may realize, and you guys know it, but I've been in many situations where you're trying to fix something that's fundamental. So you're trying to fix the product, or you're trying to fix the market trends, or you're trying to fix the field, or you're trying to fix corporate, whatever it is. None of that really exists here. The product is amazing, world-class, the quality, the clinicals, all the things we know, the ease, the convenience, the accessibility, the opportunity that's been presented to us, despite the pandemic being horrific, is really a very good opportunity for people who want to make their own way in the world, fiscally, time management, and on health and wellness. And so I think all that's really incredible. But the biggest opportunity to me, and I've said this, I don't know if you've probably heard me say this, Sharon, but I have been astounded at the Juice Plus community's attitude of not taking anything negative on board. Like if there's a choice to choose a negative side of an issue or a positive side of the issue, the Juice Plus community always picks the positive side, especially the partners. And I'll tell you something that is super rare, because most people want to look at things skeptically or critically, or they want to be heroic and have the most information. And so I think that's a secret sauce. Now, and that's primarily manifested through the partner network and the family in the Juice Plus bubble. But I'll tell you, we do have some significant opportunities / barriers to enable and support the partner journey. So we've got to get the IT thing fixed. It's a mess, and it's the plan that's on the table now is going to change because it is not the long-term solution. We've got to get faster in giving support to the partners. And, I think we need more diversity in the partner and the customer base in the US, because if you think about the growth of the population in the US and kind of the health requirements, there's so many incredible things that we haven't untapped. We're very unilateral and kind of homogenous, and I think there's an opportunity there.
Wow, I'm sure we could just explore that for quite a little while. But so I think we've been told that we were seeing the graphics that we're going to meet up in St. Louis live time, and you're probably going to be like swamped, and you probably have to come in incognito. But we're excited to see you face to face, because I know you're going to just love our community like there's no.
Yeah, I cannot wait, and I just it's so awesome. You guys have the best and hardest job, but I'm here to support you for sure.
Well, I appreciate you saying best and hardest jobs, because there's such a different perspective in my thinking from always being in corporate to being in the field. I've been with this company now 37 years.
Which is amazing.
Love the journey. I couldn't imagine doing anything else. But being in the one thing that Jay said when I came in was be teachable. Yeah. Stay connected and be teachable. And I'm sure you could speak to that on some level.
Yeah, I mean, I think certainly for me, I'm the newest kid on the block. I mean, be open and be teachable is my t-shirt I should be wearing every day because I'm learning something new every day. Yeah, I don't think we have all the answers, but we have the power of the spirit of the collective and the opportunity. And so I think when we decide that we're going to be open and listen a little bit more and be more curious and be teachable, that's when things happen. Because you know, we've all witnessed how when people, I don't play golf, but this is an analogy that makes sense to me. If you play golf, does anybody play golf? Wait, raise your hand. If you play golf, when you hold the shaft of the club too tight, you oftentimes don't play very well. You shank the ball or whatever happens. But you know, when you loosen your grip, when you're teachable, when you're open, when you're curious, you have more success. And so I think there's a proxy there about how attitudinally we need to kind of hang together to figure out what it's going to take. And by the way, the pandemic's dumped the apple cart. We don't really know how it's going to be moving forward. But what I do know is that we have this incredible, you know, family, we have this incredible opportunity, incredible product, and you guys. And so, you know, I think being teachable is part of just making sure we do it together well. As we kind of come out of this.
I love that. I absolutely love that. And one of the questions that I asked you, and apparently some of our people were curious too, is what can we do in the field to support you in your role? Is there things that we can do to support you?
Yeah, I mean, let's go back to teachable. I don't know everything. Listen, you know, there's a lot of you, there's one of me. So, you know, it's really helpful for you guys to make sure that I know what I need to know and be patient with me. Like today, I'm falling apart. But I just think it's really, I'm here to service you guys. I have a very kind of clear vision of what needs to happen, how we're going to double the business. But the actual, I have the what's, but the how and the why lives with you. And so therefore you can't solve the problem without each other. So, you know, if you guys could help me, you know, not mess this up, that would be amazing. Not that you guys will definitely be there to help me, but I think it's been an incredible welcome. It's very perfect for me. I feel very calm and I feel very appreciated, but I also feel very new. So I think all of that wrapped together.
Yeah, well, I'm sure it's somewhat overwhelming. It would have to be when you step into a thing of this scope. But if you had, maybe in closing, if you had one message that you would want to share with our teams, what would that be? What would you say to us?
I'd say that the power is held, we hold the power together, and that the opportunity is absolutely there, and that we need to increase our communication. And I primarily mean that from the corporation to the field. I feel like one of the things I've actually been surprised at, not necessarily in the positive, is just how siloed and how there's this brick wall of like communication that needs to be torn down. And I think just being honest and working the plans together and supporting each other, and there's no doubt that the belief is there, but I think just giving everybody a little bit of a beat as we sort of go into this next phase, and realizing that this is going to happen. It's just when and how it's going to happen. There's no question in my mind. So I think just making sure that we kind of lock arms and, you know, that we support each other and we're honest with each other, and that we go for it with happiness and joy. I mean, my family motto, I don't think I've said this yet, is healthy, happy, safe. And so I think, to me, I feel like that's kind of the motto for Juice Plus in the future. We want to be healthy, we want to be happy, and we want to be safe in our journey. And I think that's probably what I would say in closing.
I love that. I love that, Stuart. Happy, healthy, happy, safe.
Healthy, happy, safe. My daughter, who was giving a speech a couple of years ago at her graduation, I didn't know she was going to do this. You can imagine I was in a ball of tears at the actual graduation, but her speech in closing of her high school is about the family Kronauge motto. And it just, to me, it's such an amazing way to live your life. If you can actually achieve it, I feel like this is a place that it's going to happen for sure.
Amen. Amen. And you've got a lot of people going to help cover your back.
All right, let's get right there. Flank the sides.
That's right. All together. So for sure, there's a great book by Marie Folio. I'm sure you've heard of it. It's All Figure Outable. I don't know if you've read that. Oh
yes. I haven't read it in a long time, but it's a good time to read it again.
Yeah, we read it as a team a little while back, but it's all figure outable. So AT&T is ATD is a figure outable. Our communication, everything is figure outable, and we know that it will happen.
Figure outable, I like it. I'm going to adopt that for my kids. It's figure outable. I promise.
Well, thank you so much.
And thank you. I'm sorry I was late too.
It's okay. I just appreciate it. I thought, well, I'll just box for you and see.
Yes, I'm glad you did, because I was doing my laundry to be really sexy. So just so we're all totally clear, I had a hoodie on, I ripped it off. Okay, yeah. So now you're seeing the real me. So there you go.
Well, I did send an email earlier, but I probably should have sent a boxer for sure.
Yeah.
But, and actually, I'm at somebody else's house tonight because my internet's been down since we got struck by lightning on Saturday. So,
oh no!
In our internet, so we're just moving around and doing what we can to make this happen.
Yes, we are.
So thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you.
I can't wait to meet everybody.
Everybody, say thank you to Stuart, and thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Stuart.
Thank you, Stuart. That was absolutely
everybody.
awesome. You're here.
Thank you, Stuart.
Happy